Yo, we need to talk. What's going on, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. I just want to say that you look fucking wonderful today, so thank you so much for blessing me with your presence. For those who don't know me, my name is Billy, aka Oki, and I like to make videos to help producers like yourself and like myself make it out there in the big bad world as an artist. And I'd like to formally invite you to subscribe to this channel and join this wonderful and growing community. If you feel that you've learned something today, then please do us a favor and give me a like on this video or a dislike, and let me know in the comments down below what I could do better for the next time. Without further ado, we're going to be talking about creative block, beat block, music block, whatever you want to call it. You found yourself in a situation where you can't produce anymore. And I'm going to share with you 5 tips, tricks, techniques that I do to keep myself productive, keep my workflow nice and neat, and get myself out of that mental state. Yo, what's going on, everyone, and welcome to the channel. Holy shit, I'm feeling a lot better. So yesterday was the actual day that I filmed that little intro that you just saw, and during that time while I was recording and editing the video, I started to absolutely hate the way that I approached it. I was showing examples of the things that I was doing to get myself out of the creative ruts, and I just wasn't feeling it. To be completely honest, I wanted it to be more of a, yo, we need to talk type of video. So that's definitely where I wanted to take it, and I decided to refilm it and just get a little bit more in touch, you know, a little less editing, a little less me in a box, you know, showing you tips and tricks, right? This is also a support channel. For those who don't know me, I have been producing for the past 10 years, and I don't have much to show for it other than the fact that I'm really good at navigating myself around a DAW. But if there's one thing that I do know, and the one thing that I can confidently say that I've learned over the time, it's how to combat the beat block, the creative block, and it's how to prevent yourself from falling in that loop in the first place. So let's get right on into those 5 or 6 tips or whatever it might be. I'm really just going to talk from the heart, truthfully, because I'm experiencing this right now, and it really fucking sucks. I absolutely hate it. I hate being in this situation, and I'm sure that you do too, which is exactly why I'm making this video. Hopefully I can support you in a way that other YouTubers might have not. Hopefully I can open up to you in a way that you might find a little bit relatable. You know what I mean? I'm not a successful artist, you could see that. And shout out to my 11 subscribers, because you guys are the first of many, I would hope. And I really fucking appreciate the shit out of it. So if you haven't already and you feel that you want to join this awesome community, like I said before, then you're more than welcome to hit that subscribe button, man. We're more of a support group and a learning group together. We want to grow together, right? So anything that I know, you'll know, and I hope that you can share some tips, tricks, techniques with me in the comments down below if you feel that I've missed something or there's something important that you want the world to know about, and I'll be highlighting or pinning any comments that I feel are valuable towards this topic. Okay, so the first tip is actually going to be really simple. If you find yourself not in a creative mood and you're struggling to find new ideas or create new ideas, it could potentially be because you don't really have new sounds to work with, right? We all download sample packs, we all download VSTs, and eventually we get used to them and we use them as much as we're willing to use them, and we push them to the limits that we're willing to push them. And by that, I mean we're too fucking bored of the sounds that we're using, and that's okay, because as music producers and as creatives, our goal is to actually reach a new sound and be as original as we possibly can be. We don't want to copy other artists. We don't want to be other artists. I want to be Oki, and you want to be whoever the fuck you are. So while you're not making music, and every other 12-year-old and their mother are making better beats than you and me combined, it might be a little bit worthwhile to go out there and search for some free sample packs or paid one. I'm not saying that you have to pay stuff to become a good artist or to get yourself out of the creative block. But what I am saying is that there's tons of free content out there, tons of free VSTs out there, tons of free sample packs out there that you could potentially download from. And maybe you hear a sample in there that sparks some inspiration and completely takes you out of that rut. I've had it happen to me multiple times, because I'm a sucker for soft piano chords. You know, I'm a real sucker for those types of things. So for me, when I hear a really nice sample, something jazzy that really kicks me up in the mood, I'll make some lo-fi house. And that way, when you do come back to being creative, you have a couple of new things to play with, a couple of new things to learn about, and that could potentially help take your music to the next level. Okay, so the second tip is actually going to be creating a schedule. By that, I mean you can actually take the opportunity where you're not feeling creative to divvy up some of the more mundane things about being a music producer or being an artist that you do have to do, right? You are going to have to reach out to certain labels, and you're going to have to get on GitHub or whatever platform you use to try and get in touch with some Spotify playlists and some labels and curators and blogs, etc., etc., etc. And while all of that stuff is going to definitely further you in your career, I completely understand that for most artists, when they're feeling inspired, that's not exactly what they want to do. They want to make some music. And I think that it's really important to make sure that when you're not feeling that creative, that you take the time to help further yourself. That way when you're coming back, you've already laid the foundation to success. And that's super important. So that's going to be my tip number 2, is creating a schedule and divvying up those boring ass fucking tasks that you do. All right, so this one is going to be a little bit of a shameless plug, so please excuse it, but I'm hoping that if I introduce it first as a shameless plug, maybe no one will get that angry, but it's going to be to learn something productive about music production. Once again, it's more about time management and workflow than anything else. And usually when you find yourself struggling with things, it's actually very easy to lose creativity and to lose inspiration. So you don't want to be messing with serum effects or messing with LFO tools and trying to figure out how compression works while you're in the middle of producing a track. Wouldn't you think it would almost be better to actually search up some tutorials or go read some literature about that type of stuff before you get started on something? So that's why I think tip number 3 should definitely be to learn something productive, like my mixing and mastering tutorial, which is like a 28 long, simple but effective mixing and mastering technique that I'd use when it comes to at least getting the first master out. So make sure to check it out if you are interested in learning how to mix and master. You don't have to, but I would definitely fucking appreciate it. Okay, so the 4th thing is actually one of my favorite ones. I do this regardless of whether I'm in a creative block or not, but it's actually going to be to write down all of your creative and inspiring ideas in a notebook or in your notepad, on your iPad, on your MacBook, on your iPhone, which is funny because I literally have them all fucking lined up over here. But basically, you want to write down ideas that you can access very easily and very quickly. That way, when you're in a creative block, you can draw upon those lists and maybe gather some inspiration, or at the very least, get some guidance on something. I think that's really important because creativity doesn't necessarily last forever. And for some types of artists, I know there are some people who are like always on it, and honestly, props to you guys. You guys are fucking awesome, and I look up to you a lot. But for other people like us, like me and you, like the creative block fucking losers that we are, man, it's not easy to just get up and produce a banger every single time. It's not easy to just get up and sound design everything perfectly. You know what I mean? And especially when you get in that like little cycle of laziness and self-doubt, it's really hard to get out of. So I definitely would suggest that when you are feeling on top, when you're feeling on top of that creativity, you're feeling that inspiration, and you're having a lot of ideas, you had that thought in the middle of the bed, just fucking turn on your phone and write it down. That's what I do. And I have notes, I mean so many notes just filled with YouTube ideas, song ideas, weird remixes, names for songs, names for albums, everything. That way when I do need to draw upon it, I'm not stuck just doing something random. You know what I mean? I'm not just stuck with an open DAW with Ableton Live open and I'm just producing some shitty ass beat to make myself feel better. Look, if you go into your file and you open recent sets, you have all of this shit. But anyways, all right, number 5 is going to be making a beat or anything else that comes easy to you. Now, that's not 100% the best title for a tip, but like I said, I'm also in a creative block, so you do have to cut me some slack because I'm really just trying to connect out here and make sure that everybody knows that it's okay to be in this situation, man. It doesn't mean anything. It means that you are a creative mind, and it means that you are human just like everyone else. But not a lot of artists really broadcast this side of it, and that's why I feel like taking this approach is really important. Because I know that when I was just starting out, even in my first 5 years of producing, I didn't know that other people experienced creative block when it comes to producing music. I always thought that people were on top of it. I always thought that they were just in another league of mine, and that if you were born with it, you were born with it, and if you weren't, then you're just trying for nothing. But I'm here to tell you that you are wrong, because I've learned a lot during my time, and everything's going to be okay. So make a beat. Make something that comes easy to you. I think that's really, really important. Everybody has that genre. Everyone has, that style of production that comes really simple. So for me, I started out making just regular ass, boring ass hip hop beats, right? And now I'm really into lo-fi and making this weird. And now I'm really into lo-fi and stuff like that. So for me, when I'm feeling a little bit less inspired, I'll just grab a nice piano melody or make one, because I did take the time to learn a little bit of music theory. I did take the time to learn a little bit of chord progressions and practice it. Not that I'm a professional or anything like that, but I can lay some chords down. I'm not going to lie. But yeah, lo-fi comes easy to me. And then the best part is that I can get my SP404SX sampler, which, by the way, if you're interested in, I also did a tutorial on this. Maybe I won't plug that, but yeah, this one's really important to me because you can make a beat and then perform it on the sampler, and it's a musical act, and it helps you express yourself creatively, which is the best part about that, is that you get to do something musical and you get to take that. You can take that home with you. You can take that win home with you. Music production, when it comes to the mental part of it, when it comes to the psychological aspect of being a producer and trying to be an artist, and putting yourself out there and pouring your soul out into your music in a way that like only some people can understand, but maybe they'll get it, but at the same time, how can they understand it just from random sounds? And it's just all a gray area that is a little bit scary for some artists, including myself, so I understand completely. But really, at the end of the day, it's all about the little wins, because you can take that home with you. And you can say that you did something musical. You could say that you made a beat. You could say that you performed it on SP404. You could say that you posted that shit on Instagram and someone commented and said, dude, that's fucking dope. And then that could completely revive you out of it. And I guess that's really the 5 tips that I'll give you, but I am going to give you a 6th bonus tip right now. I have that written down, actually. All right, so for everyone who just stayed for the 5 tips, well, I'm sorry, because you're going to get a 6th one, because you're going to get a 6th one, okay? And that is to find yourself a hero artist. Now, this isn't something that I've heard a lot of other people say. I'm sure they have. I'm not saying I came up with this, but I'm just saying that in a lot of the research that I've found and a lot of the videos that I've watched, I didn't necessarily hear them say something like this. But find an artist that you look up to. Find an artist that you respect, the sound that they put out, the quality of music that they make, the genres, and you respect them as a fucking person, man. You need to respect their work ethic. I'll give you some personal examples. San Holo, fucking Laxity, who else? Oh, Jaws, right? And depending on what kind of genre I'm into making, I'll draw upon those artists and analyze the way that they work and the way that they function. So if I'm not feeling creative, usually I'll listen to some of Laxity's music. That shit gives me fucking goosebumps. And that will usually be alone enough to inspire me for the day to try and make a chill track. You know what I mean? That dude knows how to instill emotions. Or if I'm really feeling some future bass / bass music in general, definitely San Holo. And if I'm feeling a little bit more edgy on my dubstep / house vibe, then I'll definitely hit up Jaws. But all of these people I've interacted with on a personal level to me. Now, I'm not saying I know them personally. I don't. Although I did meet Jaws one time in like 2015 or something like that. But, I've watched their live streams. I've seen the way that they work. I've seen the way that they produce. I've seen the way that they approach doing certain things. And that's really important to know the inner workings of the minds of your heroes, right? These guys are the pioneers, at least to you. These guys are the ones that they've made it. And you want to be like them to a certain extent, not to copy them, but there's no point in recreating a path that's already been set, right? And those types of people are on a really solid path, especially if you look up to then they're exactly where you want to be, man. So there's nothing wrong with studying what they're doing. There's nothing wrong with analyzing some of the music that you find true and dear to your heart. Like, why did that really make you feel that way? And what are some of the things that you can take from those tracks, not steal, but you can learn from those tracks to instill the emotions that you're feeling when you're working on your music? You don't want to be putting Laxity's emotions in your music. You want to be putting your emotions in your own music. And those are the types of things that you can try and take away from analyzing their music, checking out the way that they work, right? Everybody has production tutorials. Everybody has live streams, especially now during this time. I'm not going to say what it is, but we're all on lockdown, you know what I'm saying? And people are live streaming. Go interact with your favorite one. Adventure Club is doing it. Jaws is doing it. Barely Alive is doing live YouTube tutorials on how to make drops and stuff like that. And just tuning into something like that alone, you can really see like they have that shit down to a science, right? And if you almost practice those motions enough, then creating bangers on the reg, just like everybody else, is gonna be a little bit easier. So yeah, that's actually gonna be my 6 tips on how to combat beat block, creative block, writer's block, inspiration block, really whatever the fuck you want to call it. I just want to make sure that you know that it's completely normal and people experience it more than other people. So don't compare yourself to the productivity and creativity of someone else. I guess at the end of the day, if I had to sum everything down into it, is that when you experience a creative block, it doesn't mean you're done working on your music career. There's a lot more to be done than just making awesome music. While good quality music is definitely a precedent to being sure to succeed, there are other things that you have to do, like mixing and mastering, like contacting labels and blogs and playlists on Spotify, and making sure that your releases are timed well, making sure that you know how to promote your releases, right? There are a couple of different sources. Adam Ivy on YouTube for sure, if you guys need to learn how to not mix and master, if you guys want to learn how to promote your music and how to approach all of that on Instagram, stuff like that, right? And he speaks from the perspective of an artist, and he speaks from the perspective of someone in our situation. You know what I mean? Like, he doesn't talk like he's a big guy, even though he's pretty established himself, at least in the YouTube community. I'm sure if he released a song, millions of fucking people would definitely be saving it on their playlist. I don't know. I'm just talking about random shit. But yo, thank you guys so much for fucking watching. Hopefully I managed to edit this tonight and I'll post it out tomorrow or something like that. So thank you guys so much. It really means a lot to me that I can even have a platform to share some of my thoughts. I have a lot to say as a person, especially about topics that I'm passionate about. So I apologize if I ranted a little bit, but if you did happen to stay towards the end of the video, then I assume that this potentially helped you, or you're just staying here to make fun of me with your friends. And either way, I appreciate you guys watching through, and don't forget to, subscribe, come join this community, and help us grow a little bit bigger, and like if you feel that this was helpful towards you in any way. Once again, my name is Oki, and peace out. Have a great day.